Last week, federal regulators approved the first new drug for Alzheimer's disease in nearly 20 years, a breakthrough in what's become a growing public health crisis nationwide.
Alzheimer's is the sixth leading cause of death in the U.S., and the disease is devastating for families who are experiencing the progression of memory loss.
Us Against Alzheimer's is a nonprofit organization committed to patient advocacy. ClickOrlando.com's Brandon Voles recently chatted with the executive director of the Women's Network about this groundbreaking step.
How exactly, in the simplest of terms, does this drug work? And how is it different than anything we've had in the fight against Alzheimer's up until this point?
And what it intends to do is really target the underlying cause of Alzheimer's, which is amyloid plaque. And it's designed to help people in the earliest stages of the disease. So people that have mild cognitive impairment, or MCI, which is the earliest stage that we see, those folks are going to really benefit the most from this particular treatment. The FDA really is made up of the very best scientists in the United States, and they have deemed it to be effective. They think the side effects are manageable, and it's really up to people and their providers to make the decision about whether or not this drug is the right one for them.
So really, why is the approval of this drug such a big deal? What does it mean for the Alzheimer's community?
This approval is historic for so many reasons. First of all, I want to just share some data with you. 60% of cases of Alzheimer's disease go unrecognized. Most that do get diagnosed in the late stages. So let that sink in for a minute. When you think about cancer, if 60% of the cases were diagnosed at stage 3, people would be screaming from the mountaintops, but yet we're somehow allowing the Alzheimer's community to suffer. And so because this treatment is focused on the earliest stages, it's going to force us to have these conversations earlier. We know that people are worrying about their memory or that of a loved one, and we want to make sure that they have the tools and resources to feel empowered to ask questions of their doctor, to check their memory. We've created a tool that allows people to do that so that they don't have to sit in silence, but actually they can start learning about their memory and bring those questions to their provider. So I think that we're going to be coming out of the shadows with Alzheimer's and actually start talking about our brain health in the same way that we talk about our heart health. And certainly in Florida, we need to. 600,000 people over 65 are living with Alzheimer's. 500,000 family caregivers are caring for loved ones in Florida. And we know that there are millions more who might be suffering and need support. So it's really relevant to the time that we're in.
What can people do? What kind of checks can they do to see if they are a good candidate for this medication?
Well, certainly we encourage people to always talk to their doctor. If that's not readily available to them right now, people can visit our resource that we've created, mybrainguide.org, or they can call 855-BRAIN 411. 272-4641, and they can take a memory questionnaire.
What are some other things that your organization is going to be doing to raise awareness about this new medication?
We're also surveying people living with the disease and their caregivers to continue to ask them what matters most to them. They tell us that having a few years back of quality of life really does matter. Having independence makes a huge difference. And so we bring those messages up on Capitol Hill, and we talk to members of Congress to try to advocate for more research dollars. We're hoping that this approval is actually going to fuel more and more innovation.
How long will it be until we know that it's doing what we hope that it's going to do?
But I know it's something that's being monitored closely, and hopefully it's going to be getting into the hands of people as early as, this month in June, which is exciting to see. And I know that, scientists and at Biogen and others are going to be watching it carefully and thoughtfully to make sure that it is indeed helping people, and they can support as many people as possible.
And as far as side effects go from this drug, Kenny says, based on what they've heard, they are manageable, but encourages people, of course, to talk to their doctor and read the FDA label. But so promising when you start seeing these new drugs being approved.
Giving people hope.
Yes.